What is up, guys? William here from fitnessforbackpain.com, where I teach you how to overcome persistent low back pain by mastering your mindset, improving your movements, and building smarter strength. Today, we're talking about the bent over row. We're talking about back pain, low back pain, persistent back pain, chronic back pain with the bent over row. So if you have attempted the bent over row and you're like, dude, every time I try to do this, my back always hurts or it sends me into some kind of weird flare up, I'm gonna give you 3 things that you can change that will revolutionize, honestly, a lot of the exercises that you do, not just bent over rows, but specifically today with the bent over row. So that's you. Stay tuned, this video is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be just for you. And this is your first time here, make sure you go over to fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. If you have some kind of disc injury, herniation, bulge, degenerative disc disease, you've had surgery, and you're looking to find the smarter way, the best way to train with your specific situation and train to build resilience and get out of pain, I wanna give you my free blueprint PDF guide that you can download and you can use with all the content that I have here. It's gonna give you some really cool nuggets on learning how to train out of pain, but also giving you the tools and tips needed to navigate your specific situation right here, right now in the gym. You can grab that at fitnessforbackpain.com/pain-free training. All right, so the first golden nugget of improving the bent over row is all about positioning, okay? So what I prefer people to do and prefer people to think about when it comes to getting into a position, when it comes to bent over row, is first what's going on in the pelvis or in the hips. Oftentimes, we tend to get into this overextended, this chest out, butt out position. So we grab the weight and we think that this chest out, butt out position, overextended, is a good, safe, sturdy place to pull from. And it's actually the exact opposite. What you want to do, especially if you have low back pain, you have some issues with low back pain, is you have to think about what's going on in the pelvis. So first, get the pelvis in a neutral position. And if you're new to this, you might have to kind of rock your pelvis back and forth until you get to the point where, okay, you said this is overextended. This is obviously my butt is tucked too much under. This is just about right. Once you figure out what feels comfortable to you, there's not a perfect neutral pelvis, it's what feels comfortable to you. Once you're there, then you have to think about hinging back. And all of this from basically your neck all the way to the bottom of your pelvis is hinging at the same time. So what happens is people who have a lack of core strength, a lack of core endurance, they fail at this part, keeping that pelvis in nice and neutral position, and they end up defaulting to that overextension. So get your pelvis in a good position first. Then it's about getting comfy. Once you get the weight on, everything's in a nice neutral position. I'm gonna hinge back. I'm loading these big muscles here up, hinging back, getting into a good position. I'm comfortable here. I'm not just like kind of grabbing the weight, dropping and bending over, and now I'm trying to pull from this super uncomfortable position. Load the muscles correctly so that when you go to lift the heavier weight, you can manage it. So from there, you wanna think about getting the lats engaged. So I'm gonna kind of give you the positioning, getting set up, getting the body primed to go loaded or to grab the bar and start pulling or rowing. And then we'll kind of break down some tips on that. So the last point on getting in a position is getting the lats engaged. So basically what you wanna think about is you don't want all the load to be taken here. I know we're working the bent over row. A lot of times guys will feel it in their lower back, but it's a posterior chain pulling exercise. So all the muscles in the back, the posterior chain, all the way down to the bottoms of your feet are being worked and activated. So think of it that way. When I'm in a position, I like to start bent over rows at the top. Everything's in neutral. I'm getting in my bend or my hinge properly. And before I start pulling, I'm gonna engage my lats. So I'm almost already thinking about as if I'm pulling the bar up before I actually start doing that. And that's gonna bring the shoulder blades back and down. I'm engaging the lats. And then from there, all these are engaged, and then I'm gonna go into my row. So that's the position. That's getting your body set and primed and in a good, comfortable position before you start pulling. Now let's talk about what you do once you have the bar in your hands. All right, so the second golden nugget when it comes to bent over rows and trying to do them without back pain. The second part I want to talk about is micro movements. I'm a huge fan of using the phrase micro movements matter, because they do. And oftentimes when it comes to low back pain, persistent low back pain, we get caught up in just getting exercises and reps and sets done that we don't think about the quality of the rep or set that we're actually doing. So with this one, let's talk about micro movements. So if you were to grab the bar, right? Let's say you unload the bar, you've got 135 pounds on here, whatever your weight is, and you go to get your first nugget set up, the position getting set up with the bar, everything's nice and tight. I'm gonna hinge back, not overextended. And now I'm gonna go into my movements. So whether it is this coming to here and not being in a good, set, locked in, sturdy position, or it's the first micro movement that happens is the pull, right? We go into this yanking type of momentum where we're pulling it up, and then either it's too heavy for us to control coming back down, so we kind of are always in this, we're always in this momentum-based row, right? If you're too heavy, you're kind of like in this pumping motion where you're just trying to use so much momentum to get that bar moving or to keep the bar moving. When it comes to the micro movements, we have to make sure that we're aware of what these micro movements are that affect us when it comes to low back pain, and then how to address them, how to stop them so that we can successfully do the row without the pain. So a big one that I usually hone in on with people is the transitions. So the transition would be coming from here, going from this position, going back down, or the transition from going down and then coming back up. There's two positions that usually have to, you're stopping the weight and then you're starting the weight back up again. Usually when you're in motion, when you're moving, you don't have so much discomfort, or you shouldn't if everything's nice and braced in a good position. So if we're thinking about transitions only, you're in a good position, I'm gonna slow everything down. So as I'm pulling up, nice and slow, I'm gonna hold that and make sure I can control that movement. So the transition, I'm looking for a flawless, seamless transition of lowering that bar. Same thing at the bottom of the bar, right? A lot of times we kind of tend to drop the weight down. Well, I'm gonna bring that bar down, and I know that transition is a big deal for me. So I'm gonna stop, slow down, and I'm gonna start that bar moving again, nice and slow. Again, you're going for seamless transitions. And one last point on the transition space, depending on how you're doing, if it's still super sensitive when you're trying to navigate those transitional positions, the pulling or the bringing back down, grab some kind of bench to help support. There's nothing wrong with getting some added stability, right? You're in pain. Exercising is causing more pain. Why not give yourself and some mental space and some physical space to allow you to get the exercise done and feel confident in your body while it's building strength and resilience? So I suggest grabbing some kind of bench. There's lots of ways you can do this. I'm gonna show you one way that I like to do it is I had the bench set up here. I'll have my barbell already preloaded, not like this. So I'll have it on the ground loaded. I'll have a buddy set it up, or I'll load it in my hands and then I'll step down and into it. So I'm gonna take not so much of an aggressive bent over row. So I'm not going for that like flat tabletop type of row where I'm gonna come down here. I'm gonna sitting my butt back. I'm not just kind of leaning over and slamming onto this thing. I'm sitting my butt back, resting onto this, getting set up, nice neutral position. And from here, now I can work on those transitional places. Coming down, slowing down, seamless transition, pull, 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 pull. Just like that. So this bench is just helping me with my stability. It's helping me not drop down when I'm loading that, when I'm bringing that weight down too fast. It kind of keeps me honest, but it also kind of gives me some grace to make some mistakes and not allow my low back to take that load. So the third option that you can go with when it comes to bent over rows with back pain is Dumbbells. Do not be afraid to use dumbbells. I know traditionally the bent over row is done with the barbell. It's great, it's fun, you feel strong, but don't be afraid to do it with dumbbells, especially if you are in persistent pain, especially if you're trying to navigate out of persistent pain and desensitize the body, but also get in there and get some workouts in so that you don't feel like a lazy bum. Dumbbells give you so much versatility when it comes to building strength safe and being able to customize the plane of movement, like how you're pulling and where you're pulling those dumbbells to, as well as just giving you some flexibility in changing things on the fly. So the barbell is fixed, right? You can't do, other than move it away or closer to your body, you really can't adjust your shoulders. You can't bring the weight in around your hips a little bit better, more balance over your center of mass. You can't do that. So dumbbells give me the opportunity to be able to do that in clients that I work with. So how this looks like is you're going through the same protocol of getting it all set up. So everything's nice in position. Instead of having the barbell now, I'm gonna switch to dumbbells. And what this allows me to do is I can hold them here. I can be consistent with the way a barbell looks, but what I can do is when I'm going to row and I'm set up, I can pull those dumbbells around, right? Instead of having to change and pull straight up, now I can pull back, and this weight now is traveling on a different route. It's almost going around, being more balanced. So as I'm pulling, I'm at the top of that position, one of those transitional places, I guess the weight's just more balanced over my hips, it's more balanced over the center of gravity of my body. With barbells, you can't do that. So you can adjust that with single arm pulls, you can do it with bent over row pulls with dumbbells, or if you need more stability, you can do the dumbbells on some kind of stability tool, such as like a bench. You can grab the bench, put it on your chest, you're pulling and you're rowing with that added stability, but now without a barbell and using it with dumbbells. Super easy. Again, the biggest issues that I see with people is just not understanding those transitions and not respecting micro movements and not being confidently aware of the fact that you can change the tools that you're using to fit you better. Stop trying to fit your body and your pain into the world's way of exercising and fit your body and pain into the way that you want to exercise, that you can exercise pain-free, but also not just navigating around pain, but working out of pain. All right, so that's it. Those are my 3 nuggets of wisdom that I would give to anyone who has bent over row back pain. If it's you, if you have an experience with low back pain, trying to do bent over rows, and any of these tips helped you, let me know which one helped you the most. I'm very curious to see which one kind of resonated with you when it comes to your own training. It doesn't even have to be just a bent over row. It can be anything that you're gonna apply some of these mindset shifts and positional shifts to help you build smarter strength. Let me know, leave a comment in the comment section below. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next episode.